Hello and welcome to Kodaris. Today we're going to talk briefly about our customer portal. But before we do that, I want to give a quick intro. Kodaris is a supply chain platform, and this graphic here explains what we do, and you can see that in our intro video. And today we're going to talk about the customer portal, where each and every person will be able to see all of their information and transact business with you as a distributor or manufacturer. We have designed an extensive self-service portal to save you time, money, and effort in servicing your customers and enabling them to transact and understand everything they do with you at a faster and faster pace to keep up with technology today. So let's walk through. We're going to demo on a test site, and we provide e-commerce as well, and our customer portal can be embedded in any e-commerce system as well as standalone or in Kodaris Commerce. So I'm going to sign in, and once we're signed in, the system knows who I am, my account, and who I'm logged in as. So I'm going to navigate to the customer portal, and here we see we're logged in with all modules turned on. So I'm my company admin logged into my account, and we have all modules turned on. Now this is customizable to each customer, so you're able to turn off specific modules depending on your implementation. Also up here we'll see for presence as a company, I'm my ERP customer account and the user who I'm signed in as. We also see this drop down here. We do support multiple customers under the same login. So if you're a user and you transact business with 3 or 4 different ERP accounts, that is turned on as well. You can switch between accounts. All right, the first thing to note here is that you're able to give your customers almost a Google-like or Microsoft Office 365 SaaS application. It would have your logo here up in the corner, be branded to you as a customer. So everything for your customer becomes self-service. So let's talk about that for just a second. If I click under employees, you're going to see a long list of test accounts here. But normally what you would do is set up your customer with a company admin. And as you do that, they would then self-administrate their account like any modern software as a service application. So they would sign up users, they would deactivate them, and they would administrate their own accounts. So if I click into details here, you'll see that I have the standard information, I have email address for each of my users, and remember this is your customers' users. I can even put in employment, position, title, who they are, but then I can also begin to set permissions. So I can control whether this user is allowed to place an order or not. If you're using Caderas Commerce, we even have approval workflows. I can set a spending limit. I can activate or deactivate, or there's also a long list of permissions we can assign here. As we assign those permissions out, these are all data driven. So you can add roles and permissions to your specific implementation. You can deactivate some of these if they do not apply. But that means as a company admin, I am able to manage my own employees and what they can do with the site. So this becomes a way for your customers to customize their own experience for their business and the employees in those businesses. So they can really add unlimited employees to their account with different roles and permissions. So I did also want to cover briefly on notifications. As a user signed in, I can set my own notifications, or if I have permission as a company admin, I can set notifications up for my users. What this allows us to do is, and these are data driven, so you can add here different notifications, you can remove them. There's different formats based on emails, SMS, or if you're using our mobile applications, which this entire portal and our commerce do come with native mobile applications for you. So everything we'll show you today also comes in a native mobile app. But this allows not only for notifications for things around, let's say, an order transaction, but also anything happening in your ERP. So a common one might be, hey, I'd like to know when my order is going to be delivered. If you're using, let's say, Infor Cloud Suite distribution, there's a specific date in the ERP that says this is when we plan to deliver it. If you're leveraging that date, your users can see that if you've enabled that, but also if you change it in the ERP with one button click, and Kodaris sees that change as the data flows to us in near real time, the system will look up this account and realize that's that ERP account and which users subscribe to that notification when that value changes. And then it can trigger an alert. So it's a really powerful way to save your customers time, phone calls into your office. Hey, when am I going to get this delivery? Oh, we changed that delivery date because of a delay or whatever. No matter what it is, and you can add really unlimited, so you can have 20, 30, 40 notifications. As data changes in the ERP, you can trigger workflows and notifications to your customers, saving both you and them time and money. So really powerful feature. It can be quite extensive, and we can cover more on that at a later time. So that covers employees. So let's jump into order history here. With order history, this is the entire order history for your customers, whether it's placed online, whether it's in Caderas Commerce, whether it's placed through a punch-out system, which we support, or just hand entered in the ERP. So with all of Kodaris' ERP integrations, that flows to us near real time. So usually our system is up to date within minutes of your ERP. That allows customers to see orders in every stage of their order. So think about, again, that, let's say, Amazon experience. I've placed my order's been billed, or my order is now ready for shipping. It's being picked, it's shipped, it's out for delivery, it's delivered. Your customer can see that near real-time data in this customer portal. And as we look at that, what we found is customers wanted to see their data over the years. Every customer wants to see it, every user wants to see it slightly different. And we were working with customers trying to develop that ultimate customer experience. And it was hard to please every user. So Kodaris set out to build what we call the personalized user experience. So I, as a customer, maybe I want to see my orders that are in invoice stage and maybe in the ordered stage. So I can click apply here, and it's going to filter my orders. What I can also then do is, let's say I want to see different fields. I can look and I can design and say, I don't really care about the web number, so I don't want to see that. And I also going to look at billing city. So you'll see this is changing real time as people are, the view's changing real time for the user. And let's say the user says, you know what, I would really like the purchase order column over here before the status. So they can drag that over there and put it exactly where they want. So as we do this, the user is basically customizing their view. And so now every time I log in, I'd really like to see just this view. So I can go over to this view section and I can actually add a view. I can name that whatever I want, my view or order view. And then I can make that my default view. And if I have permission, I can also make it the default view for everyone in my company. So this is a really powerful feature, and you can also, your users can have unlimited views, or your customers. So this allows your customers to design and build their own experience using your site. Then we also found customers love spreadsheets, and users just like to get their data out like to put in their own spreadsheet, import it, analyze it. So we created a spreadsheet view. And this is basically a Google type spreadsheet, embedded spreadsheet or Excel. And you can copy paste between this and Excel. You can export your selections and it'll export this view. We even support all the keyboard shortcuts that you'd expect if you use Excel. So you can move around, select, delete, do all those things. So it's a really powerful feature for your customers. Come and get the information they need in the format they want. Again, with the idea that everything is self-service. I'm going to switch back. Now let's say, you know what, I really need some detail on this. So what you can do is your customer can see a default view here. And they can get copies, and this would have your logo. And one of the unique Kodaris features is that we also will format this exactly to your format that you would see out of your ERP or that you're mailing out, maybe with a few tweaks to make it mobile responsive. But this gives the offline and online experience, keeps it consistent for you. So this is just a sample format. We'll make it exactly what you need. So as I look at that, I can do that, but I can also print to PDF. I mean, self-service, I can get a copy of an invoice. If you're using our commerce systems or this embedded, you can click reorder, add all these items to order them again. Or we also offer a quick order list. I want to make a quick order list off whatever was on this order because I know I'm going to order this every single week. So lots of options there. As you look at that, we also made the order items on the order spreadsheet view because we found many times customers just want to get the line items out into something else, maybe an accounting system. And then we also offer extensive proof of delivery. So on this, whether you're using an external logistics provider, you're using Kodaris logistics with our delivery apps, which we'll talk about in other videos, to capture a picture. So again, we all see those pictures of Amazon delivering the boxes to our front door. The Caderas platform fully supports that. And as a B2B user, maybe we perform a delivery, we take some pictures on the construction site or in a walk-in food cooler at a restaurant. Those would all be here so that as your customers are looking to maybe pay for their orders or said, hey, I don't think I received that, they would have real-time pictures in their account attached to this specific order. So very powerful feature. So let's go back to orders now. And now as I'm looking at this, let's say, I need 5 PDFs because I need different copies. So now what I can do is I can go up to actions and I can download everything I select as PDF files. So the system will create those PDFs, zip them up, and the user will be able to download those. And we also support exporting in CSV, which would export this entire what's visible on the grid in Excel format / comma delimited, and even some accounting systems we would support as well. So there's lots of options there to run your system for your customers become very self-service. And again, reducing those phone calls, giving them real-time access to all of that data on their account without having to stop and request it. So, and you'll notice these grids are the same across all of this. So I can customize anything along the left here as well. And then we have a global search. So we make all data in the system searchable. So users can search even on, let's say, product codes that appeared on the order, totals, any of those things, as well as all across these specific columns, they can search on specific things or filter. So let's say I just want to search on a billing city. I have any number of things to search specifically on the column or field I'm looking at as well. And that goes across the entire columns that you can view. So that's a real high level about the order history. Again, remember it's near real time. It's not just invoice. So user can filter, sort, check delivery date, all of those things right here on a dedicated dashboard. We'll touch on quotes if you're using Kodaris quote to cash, if you have ERP quotes, you're using our cash to quote functions, those would appear here. Very similar orders. We have statuses. We'll cover more of that later, but when we cover the quoting module, but they can track their quotes with you if they're, let's say in the construction industry, do a lot of estimation and you have 20 jobs going. Real-time access to see those quotes, what stage they're in, award them. Your customers can really interact with you digitally across that entire process as well. Next, we're going to touch on locations. Locations are commonly referred to as ship-tos in many distribution ERPs. And these are where your customers might have 10 different locations, or again, the construction industry, I might have 20 different ship-tos because that's where I'm doing work on 20 different sites. You might be a conglomerate working with, let's say, a distributor who's working across 20 or 30 of your locations and delivering you janitorial supplies every week. And those typically would be set up and visible here. And again, any information, all the grids are going to be the same. But one thing I wanted to point out that's very handy with this, depending on what the access you want to give customers, they can edit these, they can at least view them, what location this is. They can update certain information if you enable it. We've disabled much of this information here, but sometimes customers would like their users to be able to set up emails and things like that. And this is an important feature because when we talk about assigning employees to locations, a very common use case is I have 50 locations you're servicing, and I want employees to be able to log in and place orders for those locations, see their order history, do all of those different things, but I don't want them to see what other locations are doing. Or I have a supervisor who's running 5 stores and another supervisor who's running 10 stores, and they shouldn't cross over. So one way to segment your employees or your customers to be able to segment their employees by location is to assign them to a location. By doing that, every time somebody logs in and then let's say goes to the order history screen, they would only see the orders for the locations they have access to. So that's a very powerful way for your customers to even set up and isolate their own employees to do business with you how they want to do business, and to restrict employees, your customers' employees, to their own locations. So that's an advanced feature, but your customers can also self-manage it. All right, we're touching on quick order lists. These are quick order lists if you're using commerce. We'll touch more on that when we talk about commerce, but your customers can update, make quick order lists throughout the life cycle of their ordering. And we know B2B users get in and out of place orders usually within minutes for repeat orders. So that speed is very important. So we won't go into this in depth, but this area right here just allows your customers to build out product lists, order lists, quick order off of here. We'll cover more on that later. So let's talk about our payment module for AR automation. And this is an extensive topic, but this is one of the most popular modules in Caderas. So a customer, if you think about their statement balance, they would be able to log in and given the proper permissions, again, there's accounts payable permission, and that's just one of the permissions that we looked at earlier, so they can restrict whoever needs access to this can have access, and they can keep other employees out of seeing this information. So as we look at this, I would have my period balances, and these are a common setup, and these can be, labels can be changed, and these are synced with the ERP. So all of the customer's current information, usually within minutes, is synced up in here for them to look at. Again, there's a lot of fields on the default screen here, but your users can move those around, change those, save their different views specific to this screen. So when I look at this now, let's say I come in here and this is designed that customers would make payments. Before we call that out, it's important to note with ERPs, we do have a very fast integration, sometimes as little as an hour, and those AR transactions would flow to Caderas automatically. So your customer's view is always up to date. And then if you invoice an ERP, that's going to automatically come to Kodaris. Your customers can log in and see it when they're ready. And then when they make a payment, which we'll demonstrate in a second here, they're basically, by checking these off, developing a remittance. So if I'm going to, let's say, pay this one and this one and this one, and then I pay those, what happens after that transaction is Kodaris would clear the transaction. It would be queued for batch at the end of the day, like your normal processing or ACH processing. And as it batches out, we would also transmit a file to your ERP, which would auto-apply the invoices and then give your users a report. So depending on the ERP, it's normally a bank lockbox file. So Caderas acts like a bank, gives you a lockbox file with remittance. And then most ERPs do support auto-applying those invoices and ingesting that file. So this really becomes a closed loop transaction between the ERP, flows to Caderas, hands off, customer logs in, pays, flows back to the ERP, things are auto-applied, and your AR team receives a report. So this is a very much ROI for efficiency. If you're manually applying a lot of payments, and also this is a huge convenience for your customers that we know we're all used to paying online, and many customers expect nowadays as they do business with you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about these columns. We support many features, but first I'd like to call out, again, the system knows which company I work for and which user I am. So let's say, look, I like Payment Portal, but I don't offer credit card payments to my credit customers. We only offer ACH transactions or bank transactions. Or a common story we hear is, hey, I have 90% of my customers pay by ACH, 10% I just cannot get off card and they're great customers, so I let them pay by card. So one thing in Kodaris, as you look at it and you look under payment methods here, depending on what you offer that specific customer is what will appear here for them to vault. So if 90% of your customers only do ACH, that's important, and you'll set that up for, let's say, all customers. And then that other 10%, you enable it, and they would see both of these, but the customers who are only allowed to pay by ACH will only see ACH. This credit card icon will not be here. So all they can do is pay by ACH. So as we look at this, we'll also have your customer agree. Kodaris is a full virtual payment provider. So we are a solution provider on Visa's website. We do thousands and thousands of ACH transactions, and we also will generate PDFs and take care of all the agreements that your customer interacts with. Store that, you'll have access to it. So as you need to comply with NACHA regulations and everything involved with the banking aspect, that will be all handled by the Caderas system when you're using our payments. So let me go back. I can vault and manage my payment methods, again, just like on Amazon. And so if I go back to open invoices, I'm going to look at this screen, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to make a payment. So as I go up here, I can pay these selected invoices, or I can even schedule selected payment. So if I want to schedule this payment for, let's say, 3 weeks out, I can select the invoices, schedule a payment, and on that date, the system will run, apply the payment to the invoices, and transmit the file. So this is a very powerful feature for your customers and convenience. So if I click Pay Selected Invoices, Depending on the options configure, we'll talk about short pays in a minute. This disclaimer's your wording, you can change it. I'll show if I'm getting any discounts or not, and then my total payment. And then I can make a payment. Again, only the payment methods that are offered to the customer will appear here. And that's it. So your customer typically can log in. Usually it's a very quick few minutes. They can do things like select all, like I'm going to pay everything. I can filter, sort. Maybe I want to find something, or I only want to go by a certain invoice date or due date. I can filter and sort whatever I need. So let's also quickly talk about this. Is a common question we get: do you accept short pays? Short pay is a feature, so the customer can actually type in how much they're paying. If this is turned off, it's going to pay it in full. But if they say, hey, I know this price was wrong, or I forgot to give you my tax certificate, I'm going to deduct the tax, I want to pay digitally, they can do that here. But you can also set up and configure reasons. These are just samples for tracking. So every time a customer short pays, they have to put a reason why. And then what that does is let you know why they're short paying. But also, as they're short paying, you can go back and say, okay, well, we see that we've had incorrect tax on 90 out of 100 short pays. What can we do to fix that to drive more efficiency so we don't have to then do a GL credit or things back to the customer? So very handy feature. Some people do not use it, and some people decide to turn it on. Well, as we were building this and working with customers, we thought, okay, well, common use cases, I want to make a payment or I have a question on this invoice. So Kodaris developed a comment feature. So I can comment on an actual invoice, and then the AR team will receive a message, and they can actually respond and have a two-way conversation with the customer about a particular invoice and their questions on it. And that's also recorded on that invoice in Caderas, so that it can be referred back to. Customer can see it, you can see it. So that's a very handy feature, again, to eliminate telephone, do things interactively and digital, but not losing email, not losing a live chat or any of those things. And it's always going to be there with the invoice. So that's another handy digital feature. So really, that's AR payments for your credit customers. Very easy, fast to use. Large customers sometimes will come in and just select a period balance and select all and click pay. Even if your customers use external accounting system, again, they find it very easy and fast to come in, and we can talk about again how maybe they are large customers and they want to directly integrate instead come into the portal. We do have that capability as well. So depending what your needs are, Caderas is designed to be very open and provide you a tool to provide automated services to your customers. So let's talk about deposits real quick. This is a feature that many customers asked about that we've implemented. Hey, my customer needs to make a huge deposit on a large order, or maybe they just want to give us $10,000, have us apply it. So that's also possible here. Some people call it a lump sum payment. Maybe it's a deposit, payment on account. Your customer can self-service and come in and do that as well. The other thing I want to talk about quickly, we saw the proof of delivery on the orders earlier, and you'll see that here we have a documents. This would be documents tied to your customer's account. So when you think about it, Kodaris has a built-in document management system across the entire platform. And on the employee login, not your customer's login, we'll talk more about that. But this is a very secure way for you to share documents with your customers. Let's say you have a tax certificate you need them to upload and submit here, or you have something else you need to give them. Instead of sending by email or setting up a shared drive, Google Drive or something like that, very easily you can go into the Caderas employee portal, log in, find this customer, and upload a document for them. And they can log in and they can see it. And it's on a secure audited platform. So the same concept with the proof of delivery we saw in orders, where the pictures, documents could be takeoff sheets, spec sheets, MSDS sheets on those orders. Those will be attached directly to orders. You can do this at the location level as well, if it's specific to a location, or at the customer level. This is a very handy feature, again, to be 100% digital, everything self-contained securely. It's a very powerful feature there. Okay, let's touch on integrations. We do not have any integrations turned on here, but some customers have integrations to their customers' ERPs and other things direct into the Kodaris platform. When it's desirable, we can integrate, and we have a few that, if turned on, would show up here, where your customer can click a button and configure their integration with, let's say, their ERP. So use for very large customers, we do leave this here, or we can turn it off if I want to request the integration and say, hey, I'd really love to see you integrate with my account with, let's say, QuickBooks Online or any Sage or any software platform. They can request that here, and that just is a way of you marketing and saying, look, we're here to serve you. We're wondering if how do you want to do business more efficiently with us? Because, and as you know, in B2B, time is money. So this is another way that Caderas is trying to drive ROI, not only for you, but for your customers, and they may save money just by doing business with you. So that's the customer portal at a very high level. I won't cover all under my account here is my profile. I can set certain things. I can set my language. If you're using multilingual, which, by the way, this is full multilingual, so it can be different languages, and that can be changed as well. My personal quick order list. We looked at payment methods for the company. Maybe I'm at a personal level, I want to use payment methods to check out. If you're using Kodaris Commerce, that would be here. If you're not, then this would be hidden. And also manage my personal notifications. So we saw notifications under employees. If proper permissions, I can manage them for my employees, but if I'm just logged in with limited permission, I can manage my own notifications as well. So that's a customer portal at a high level. Again, very customizable to you, how you want to see it. There's other features coming in modules for your customers to drive technology for them. And the beauty about Kodaris is we're giving you a platform to provide that experience for your customers and continuing updating it.